Welcome back to your guide on fractional work for organizations guiding not only their business but their teams into this new modern day workforce that's coming. So by 2030, 50% of the workforce will be fractional, freelance, or contract work. So this whole series is to get an understanding of how your organization can start to move into this and stop the battle in reality and embrace it because it's happening. So let's not ignore it. Let's act like it's not happening, and let's start the process of adapting to a place where not only you can get value from fractional workers, but the people that you want to keep that maybe are looking for flexibility or less hours or early retirement but kind of want to still work, it gives them an opportunity and an avenue to stay. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how do you recruit for fractional talent, because right now I think that it's who you know that might be available, but as this starts to increase, as 50% of the workforce shifts to this, it's going to be washed down in some areas. How do you find the right person that's not going to kind of screw you over? How are you going to find people that mesh with your culture so that, you know, people aren't like, don't bring him back, I don't want to see him ever again, he ruined everything? How do you get people that do a great job, bring value, provide value back to your employees like training or mentorship, and also you want them back because then you don't have to look for another one for that specific skill set. So recruiting for fractional talent on multiple scopes is going to be an important part of your strategy as you plan forward. So you've already done the business necessity assessment, what roles, functions, value that you could get out of certain fractional work or expertise or skill sets. You got everyone on board with what the plan might be. This is what it looks like in our organization, at least in 2025, 2026. It's going to evolve even faster after that, so let's just be open to adapt. But now we need to actually get the talent. Now we need to start thinking of who do we hire. And the first place I want you to look is people who are extremely solid in your organization. They have that skill set where if they would leave, no one else could do that. I want you to start prompting that conversation with them. And it doesn't mean that you're kicking them out of your organization, that you're telling them like, we don't want you here full time. I want you to really hone in on their skill set because they should be having that conversation with you first instead of another organization down the street. So I'm very good at strategic HR and change management coming from manufacturing. It just was something that came natural to me. I've been studying it a long time, training other people for a long time. So if I felt like I couldn't go to my organization to say, you know, as a working parent, this is extremely difficult. I'm working long hours. I'm always working. I feel like I can't turn it off. It's just, I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go into fractional work. I'm going to start working for other clients. You just lost me, right? You lost a value add top talent person. Now, if my boss said, hey, we're looking into fractional work, we just want to make sure that we're checking in with everyone so that they know what it is. And if it's something that they're interested in, I want them to be open with us as leaders that you would stay here and do some of that work for us as well. Okay, well, now look at my burnout journey. I don't exit. I say I need to back off a little bit, and I also want to continue helping my community and other organizations through this change, through productivity without burning out, and I'm just not getting all that here. How about this? How about if I work on this for you, and then I do all these other things with other clients? I start building my fractional work journey. That means you get to keep me, and I get to do what I want. So do you see it's a win-win on both sides? Opening that conversation doesn't mean you push people to fractional work, but knowing that 50% of the workforce will be fractional workers, those opportunities are going to come in front of them sooner than later. So make sure that that conversation is already open. That door is already open to those people, especially your top talent. If you do anything, have those conversations with your top talent, most value add people, because that's the people who others are going to hire. They're not going to hire the people that aren't showing up for work. They're not going to hire the people that aren't learning and developing and don't have any ambition. They're going to hire the people that are the experts. So those are the ones you want to protect in your organization. So if it's a choice between them leaving or you providing an opportunity for fractional work, go for fractional work, right? That's a win-win. That's like a beautiful thing in my HR mind because they get to thrive in their energy zone, feed that workflow that they want to go, but we get to keep the value adds. Yay! So recruiting for fractional talent, make sure you're having those internal conversations as well. Do not be afraid that you're pushing people out. Premise it with, I want to support you. And this is happening outside of our organization. I want to make sure that you know that we would be open to having that discussion with you if it will come up. Now, an important thing to remember is for fractional work, a lot of times it doesn't include benefits, right? So they have to be ready for that conversation as well. Say they're like, yeah, I would love the personal freedom to work whenever I want to and just work on this project and not all the tactical stuff. Now it's a conversation about you're going to lose benefits. You're going to lose health insurance and retirement and all the employer contribution type things, wellness programs. And a lot of people say, oh, my family needs that right now, or I really need that right now. I'm not ready. Cool. We're back where we started, but the conversation's still open. Now, some people will say, yeah, I'll just go on my spouse's insurance. I'll figure out retirement plans in the future. What does this look like for me, right? Again, you want to keep that top talent. So that's the internal side. Now let's shift gears to the external side of recruiting fractional talent. There's going to be some unique challenges in recruiting fractional talent that you don't know. So that means they don't have a big portfolio yet, what you're going to see a lot of in the beginning of this because people are just starting. You're going to see people that only worked for one company and they were like an expert in that one company, or they were at that company for 20 years. Be careful of that because they're only going to have one mindset unless they're into learning, growth, development, research. They're only going to have one way of thinking, one culture of thinking. So be careful of that. And then the other thing is when people are starting out, what sources do they have of the work that they have already done outside of their employer? As an employer of them, they're not going to say a lot. And in HR even, I'm trained when people call me up and they're like, hey, can I get a referral on someone? We're trained legally to just like not give a reference because it can put you in a spot. And so employers aren't going to say a lot. The people that are going to say a lot are those that had them as a fractional worker before. So if, say, they have a portfolio and it says, I did system integration for XYC manufacturing company. Okay. Can I speak to them about how that process went? They should be freely referencing their previous projects. Yeah, go call up Judy, and Judy knows that I can give them a call. Already have a testimonial video from Judy on how my work went. There are people that I met along this journey that do fractional work that are phenomenal at their skill set. They are not great team players. They wanted to do it their way. Not the organization's way, not how the organization culture is, not the organization operations. They wanted to do their way or the highway. That's not the people you want to work with, right? You want this to be a positive experience so you can expand it out, so you can continue on. You want your team to welcome fractional workers. So that's a unique challenge is there are experts out there and they're not great workers, great project managers. They can't manage their time. So that's why referrals and that organic references are going to be important. And then you want to make sure that you're using effective channels to grab up fractional workers. I think the top 3 that I would suggest right now, it's evolving every year, but in 2024 is recruitment, placement firms that focus on contract or fractional work. I want not temps like I'm covering for maternity leave or a medical leave. Fractional or contract work, which means they're expert, they're higher level type people that they're placing. So that's one area because they're vetting them out because it's their brand and their name on this person. So keep that in mind is they're not going to give you crap because it's their name that says this recruiting company did me wrong and they gave me a crap fractional worker. No, they're only going to suggest really good workers. The second area that I want you to look at for channels is on LinkedIn and just posting. All right. So if someone right now, I have a lot of people in my HR network because I've been in HR for 20 years. If someone would post right now, I'm looking for a strategic HR fractional worker, which means they're only going to do strategic HR. They're not going to do tactical stuff and interviews and things like that. They're just going to do the strategic part. They will get flooded with HR people that want to do just that. And I know that because I'm having conversations all year long with these HR people trying to go into fractional work. And they're good people and they're good at what they do. So just posting out on LinkedIn, what specific role are you looking at, and that it's fractional? Because that means it's only focused on value add work or project work. I think you're going to get a flood of applicants. So first one is going through a recruiting firm for vetted out fractional workers. Second one would be just posting on LinkedIn, professional network. I'm not a big fan of that social media channel personally because I'm raw, real, in the trenches type of person. But it is a great professional network to connect with people, see where they're at, provide value back to organizations. So, second one is LinkedIn. And then the third one is talk about it. Because this is so new, when certain people say, yeah, our organization's exploring fractional work, oh, I know someone. Oh, you should check out this event. So-and-so is going to be there. Oh, someone that I work with just said their husband's company just did that. They have some resources for you. And this flow of information, this like telephone networking is also a great avenue to go right now. So recruitment firms, LinkedIn posts that you're looking for a specific fractional role, and it not a job post, just like a conversation, regular post. And then the third one is talking through people, having actual conversations so people refer out. The interesting thing is if you're going to get more into technology, fractional workers, project management type of workers are very specific expertise. Another one to look for that's not in my top 3, but also of value is just like trade shows and conferences. All those different skill sets in one room will help you out. Now, as this advances in future years, I do see job fairs turning into more fractional fairs, things like that. So more to come in future years, but start there, sourcing your talent from those 3. Now, an important factor of recruiting talent is what are they going to be doing? And this is basically a job description that is honed down into a project scope. So a job description explains all these functions that a full-time employee is going to do, minimum expectations, maximum expectations, physical demands, a lot of like fluff and puff that just covers a large spectrum. A fractional worker is going to want to know, what am I going to be doing? So think project scope. How long is this estimated? How many hours per month is projected for this project, or attendance of meetings to guide the team? What specific things do you need to take from A to B? And that's in the project scope. So think of it like you hire me as a trainer, for example. In the contract that we have, which will be a future episode about contracts, it will go over the scope of work. What am I coming in for? What is the outcome goal that we both agreed on? How many hours is it estimated in my fee? So we'll get into more of that in the contract episode coming up. So make sure that you subscribe, because that's going to be an important one so that you understand what both parties need. But in that can emphasize flexibility. It can emphasize responsibilities. So that means what you do and what you don't. That's important also to identify, is the things that you won't get into within this scope. And that will align both parties on how to move forward. That's a big variable in recruiting fractional talent, because there's things that fractional workers don't want to do. And there's fractional workers that want to make sure that they're not being abused in all these side areas and noisy things going on. They want to come in and just do the value adds. And again, a part of recruiting fractional talent is making sure that it's a good experience for both parties so that we can do it again and again and again. And it makes everyone's lives easier. And the whole goal of recruiting fractional talent is it's here and it's available. So how can we stop the battle on it and embrace it?